There's no denying that the 90s was home to a lot of nostalgic and iconic shows. Shows like Sesame Street, Barney, Blue's Clues, and SpongeBob all worked together to define a generation. But there were also some other shows that kinda got lost in the crowd and just forgotten about. One good example would have to be Jumper, which went unnoticed by the internet for over 35 years until it was just recently discovered. So in today's video, I'm going to be deep diving into some of these old shows that no one has ever acknowledged the existence of. The first show that I'm going to be looking at was called Kelly Bear. This series never actually aired on cable TV, but rather it was a series of direct-to-DVDs instead. To give you an idea just how obscure the show is, their official YouTube channel has less than 300 subscribers. The only reason I know this show even exists in the first place is because when I was in 3rd grade, a teacher put one of the Kelly Bear DVDs on one of those CRT TVs. So you might be thinking, what was this show even about? Well, Kelly Bear was a pseudo-Barney type show where Kelly stood in a classroom with a bunch of random children as Kelly lectured and preached to them about all the good morals and how to be a functioning member of society. And if I'm being honest, Kelly himself kind of reminds me of a Care Bear that went rogue and escaped from Care-a-Lot. Surprisingly, Kelly was only in the show for like half the time, as there was also a segment featuring a real teacher lecturing the children on the very same lesson that Kelly was lecturing them on. You know, looking at the show with adult eyes has taught me that it was blatantly obvious that Kelly Bear did not have a very big budget. And with the little budget they did have, I am personally convinced that 75% of it went into the Kelly costume alone. After the teacher showed my class Kelly Bear back in 3rd grade, he somehow still floated in the back of my brain for the next 15 years. All I remembered was that he was a green bear and his name was Kelly. But I also have very, very faint memories of a little song and dance that Kelly did with the children at the end of the episode I was shown. But I can't seem to find it on the internet anywhere. Alright, I think we've taken a long enough look at Kelly Bear. We still got a couple other obscure shows to take a peek at. As ironic as this is gonna sound, this second show also features a guy in a big green animal costume. Folks, feast your eyes on the Big Green Rabbit. Unlike Kelly Bear, however, Big Green Rabbit actually did air on cable. It aired on PBS Kids. However, it only aired on a select few PBS stations, resulting in the show's obscurity and why it's in this video. Heck, Big Green Rabbit is so obscure that it doesn't even have a page on Wikipedia. If you ask me, out of every PBS Kids show there is, Big Green Rabbit is the most obscure of them all. But for some reason, their website still exists. And if this looks a little nostalgic to you, that's because the website hasn't been updated since 2012. And I am fairly certain Big Green Rabbit's creators haven't even done anything with him in years, because their most recent social media post is from over a decade ago, and the Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube icons are also outdated. And to top it all off, none of these buttons here work anymore. If I were to click on games, for example, look. Nothing. It's also worth noting that there is only one full episode available on YouTube. Or, as it turns out, the first, 90% of the episode or so, because around 20 minutes in, the tape abruptly stops, implying that that's all that was recorded. But I have done a little bit of observation, And what I've noticed is that Big Green Rabbit is slightly more popular than Kelly Bear, but just barely. Because someone actually mentioned Big Green Rabbit on Reddit, therefore acknowledging his existence. Whereas if I search for Kelly Bear on Google Images, half the pictures are of just generic teddy bears. Actually, wait a minute, I just realized something. We have a green rabbit and a green bear. That means we are without a doubt gathering up an all-green version of Five Nights at Freddy's over here. But forget that. There's still one more show we gotta take a look at. At this point, I'm gonna sound like I should be wearing a tinfoil hat. In order to understand what the heck I'm talking about, we're first going to look at a textbook company called Addison Wesley. Addison Wesley created a puppet character who was an orange cat named Arpeggio, or ARP for short. You may assume that ARP is merely just a generic puppet toy that you could goof around with, but no, he was so much more than an orange cat wearing a spiffy tie. Because I clearly remember seeing an old TV show where ARP was a character. In the show, he appeared as the puppet assistant of a human woman actress, and he had somewhat of a witty personality. I clearly remember one exchange between ARP and his human friend going something along the lines of, "Hello! Who are you talking to?" "The kid's at home." "But that's a camera," or something like that. I tried finding this show online, looking up terms such as Addison Wesley Music Show or ARP the Orange Cat Show, but nothing comes up aside from pictures of the ARP puppet. I think we may as well have a new lost media case. So, if anyone can actually find this show, that would be great. Well, we've made it to the end of the video, and if I'm being perfectly honest with you, talking about these three crazy obscure shows was crazy in of itself. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that other stereotypical YouTuber stuff, and I'll see you all next time.